Welcome to the channel. This is your boy, H.I.M, and he is me. And we're going to be talking about Ironheart. If you already saw my short, you already saw what I was rating it. So we're not going to sugarcoat it too much. This is just my thoughts, my feelings, and just something I want to speak on regarding to the show. If you like everything I have here, you even like my rating, please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with a friend or so. And sharing some discourse down in the comments. Let me know how you like the show. Do you think my rating was fair? Do you think it was too low? Do you think it was too high? Let me know. So let's get to it. My rating, as you saw on my short, I put it as a D+. I rated it bronze. This show was nowhere near what I thought it was. And this is me going in it with like a positive mindset. As you know, a lot of people were already review bombing this show. A lot of people just didn't like the fact that she was a black girl who is going to be carrying the legacy of Iron Man. Some people didn't even know who she was, let alone knew that she's an actual physical Marvel comic character. And very warranted of the iron suit that she makes within the comics. A lot of people didn't like her or her representation in Wakanda Forever, the second Black Panther movie. A lot of people don't like the fact that she's another genius in the MCU that we just gotta believe is on par with Tony Stark. I also got a lot of people looking at it as a woke situation, just putting another female in a situation or in a lead that doesn't feel like it's earned, especially when we don't really know this character at all. And the build-up and introduction that we got to her is not something that a lot of fans wanted, if not were excited about. And then to have a Disney Plus series that supposedly from records and what has been said has been on a shelf for almost like 3 years. With all that being said, all those negative things came before and after the first 3 episodes. And now with the full, I believe it was 6 to 8 episodes that is officially out and people have watched it, the reviews are still mixed. But they're mixed, I think, for the wrong reasons. I think a lot of people want to like this show. I think a lot of people want to like Riri. And I think a lot of people really want this thing to work. And I'm going to be honest with you, nothing about the show works. Nothing about the show works. I ended up watching it as closely as possible, like rewatching some stuff, doing some research on the character, listening to every bit of dialogue and following along with the characters. And I could say this series leaves you feeling empty. There is nothing exciting. There's nothing to talk about. There's more things negative to talk about than there is to talk about positive. And I don't know, the last series, maybe Secret Invasion, that left me feeling this empty. Like, I just feel like I just watched this whole series and I don't feel connected to the character at all. Let alone, I kind of don't care about the character. And it's funny because it felt like in Wakanda Forever, I actually was intrigued by her and wanted to know more. And it even led me to going into some comic runs to even get to know her a little bit better. And, so that when she ever does show up again, it's not so much of a surprise or, I don't know anything about her. I can be more excited for this character who supposedly is one of the few characters actually in the MCU. And I mean, not the comics. I'm talking about the actual Marvel Cinematic Universe, who created their own Iron Man suit from scratch that actually works and performs really well. And the problem that I have with that is just like, you don't feel anything. And it makes me feel bad because I really want to like it. The culture's there, the feelings there, the love and the writing on the wall for those who can relate to a lot of the scenarios and characters that's in the show. It's like, man, they tug at a lot of those good points that somebody who comes from that type of environment, some people, as a person who can relate with a lot of the things and subjects that was talked about. It's like, man, I really relate to that. I can really feel that. And then to walk away and feeling so empty, it's like the greatest disappointment. It's the greatest disappointment. And I think the most disappointing thing about it is the fact that you don't walk away liking Riri Williams. And this has nothing to do with the actor. This has nothing to do with the actor's ability and how they act. This is literally just how they wrote the character, how they presented the character. She's unlikable. And I mean that in the most positive way, personally, because it's not like, oh, there's not points in the show that you really relate to her with, and there's not points in the show that you're just like, oh man, like I feel you, Riri, like you know, you can get out of that, or you can make it, or you're smart, you got like rooting for her. But there's a saying that comes from, you know, from my history and from things that I've experienced, and if you heard this saying, maybe then this will make more sense. There's a saying that says, a hard head makes a soft behind. And I feel like they wrote this character way too arrogant, way too just hard-headed through the whole thing. Like, I'm just watching her and I'm just like, what are you doing that for? What is going on? What is this? And it's like, there's an excuse for everything. The excuse is this, the excuse is that, the excuse is this is the excuse is that. But it's never like any form of accountability. And the points where you think she understands about accountability, she does something else that deters her from learning the lesson that was just presented. So it's just like you're not learning the lesson that you needed to learn. They wrote the character in a sense that there's nothing that you like about the character to the point that you're rooting for them. You're not really rooting for them, but you feel like you're just kind of like counseling them. You're like, come on, man. Like, don't do that. Oh man, what you doing? Don't do that. And that's not a positive thing. Like, I don't want to walk away just feeling like, dang, bro, I'm frustrated because, like, what are you doing? Like, that's not connecting me with the character. And especially when she's supposed to be the hero. And let's be honest, she ain't did nothing heroic. Nothing heroic. There is nothing that makes me root for her, let alone makes me want to, you know, like, see Riri Williams in any other project. Like, they failed. And you could say it's writing, you could say it's storyboarding on where they wanted to go with the character, but it just felt like it didn't flow like you hoped it did. It didn't work like you hoped it did. And the problem is that everything to me feels perfectly cast. I feel like everybody was cast right. I think everybody who was placed in the roles that they were supposed to place were giving their best, and it was working out. Like, acting wise, that's not the issue. It's just the story. The story sucks. And the sad part is that they kept running with this one theme. Oh, you're not a criminal. You're not a bad person. You're this. And it's just like, everybody keeps giving excuses for it. But the reality is, it's like, nah, you kind of are a bad person. And not because you have a bad heart, but because you just continue to make the same mistake over and over and over again. Like you're so smart that you can't get out of your own way. It's like watching Kanye West act out. And then it's just like, how many times we gotta tell you to stop doing this? And then Kanye just keep doing it. It's the same thing with Riri. Like, why are you doing this? You don't have no business doing this. And then everybody who tries to get in her corner, she shuts off. They use the excuse that she's grieving, but I'm like, everybody's grieving. Everybody's going through something. And yes, there is some relatability because people grieve in different ways. There's going to be a lot of people who's going to be like, nah, girl, I know somebody just like that. Wow. I know somebody like that. But you know what you always say about the same people? They're hard-headed. And they ain't going to learn the easy way. They got to learn the hard way. And that's all I felt watching Riri. And though, like I said, it's relatable and it's understandable. That's not something that you root for when you're looking for somebody to be a hero that you want to cheer on and other projects moving forward. I just think it was a large miss. And to be honest with you, the story doesn't add anything. I don't feel like it adds anything to the overall, like, Marvel Cinematic storyline or the timeline or anything like that. I don't even think it adds anything to her character. All it did was just give us a new suit. And just showed us another character that was influenced by Tony Stark that doesn't even feel warranted to the other two characters, one being his daughter and the other one being a little boy from Iron Man 3, who felt way more warranted to have some place in the MCU carrying on Tony's legacy when she doesn't even really care about Tony Stark. Which is kind of the wild part, because part of her legacy in the comics is her relationship, or at least her fascination or connections with Tony Stark. And in this one, not that she bashes him, like everybody keeps over exaggerating, but she kind of just like doesn't care about him, and kind of using his suit as kind of like a reflection of like her own personal wants and needs. It's not like she's making the suit to try to like make everything better or try to like work everything out. It's just like she has a suit because she can do it. And she constantly says that within the series. So it's just like, why do you want the suit? Why do you want the suit? Because I can do it. And then when you finally get like the real reason, which we all saw the writing on the wall for, it felt lackluster because it's just like, okay, you're doing it for that. But then the same people that you say you're doing it for, you don't care about. You're not even trying to involve them in your world. You're not even trying to hang out with them, connect with them. The last time you tried to protect them was when you put them in danger. So it's like everything through that series, we were watching somebody make their life 10 times harder for no reason. And nowhere in there do you feel like this person was a hero. And they kept trying to emphasize that she was a good person. And I'm like, why does it feel like the show, now it's not even the characters in the show, it feels like the show itself keeps trying to tell us she's a good person. And the worst part is that if you watch Wakanda Forever, when you first get introduced to her, you feel like she's a decent person. So it's like this series totally did a 180, and then you just say, I really don't care about her. She's a hard-headed girl who continues to get in her own way and continues to make it harder for the people around her because she don't want to listen. She's too hard-headed. And the problem what comes when you have a hard-headed person is that they have to, and I'll say this again, learn the hard way. And she did that throughout the whole series. So no, the character is unlikable to the point that though you can relate with certain things, there's nothing that makes you root for Riri. There's nothing that makes you say, this is a character I want to follow. This is not even a character that you even walk away from, like, remembering. It's like, I feel more frustrated thinking about her than I do feeling like I connect with her and I like her. Like, no, it doesn't work at all. And the worst part is that the most likable person in the show was her AI, Natalie. And even then, the way she treated her and kept talking about her. Matter of fact, there's an even deeper story within this series about AI and what does it mean to be alive that was kind of not shoehorned, but kind of fit into the story that was actually very interesting, especially when we came to the Xavier situation, that being his sister. Like, all those connective tissues were just as interesting as the main story. And then it played a role, but that dealt with more the AI character than it did the main character. Like, I didn't care about the main character. I cared more about Natalie. So it's just like, this series should have made me walk away liking Riri, but I ended up liking all the side characters within the story. And it's just like, and by side characters, if you stay to the end for spoilers, I'll tell you exactly some of them, but it's supposed to be a back and forth over things that I liked and things that I didn't, but it's not a lot of things I like about this. This is why I got a D+. It would have got an F if it wasn't for some of the messaging and points that I actually did like. And I love the fact that they did give her some growth, but not character development. Her character sucks. There was no character development with her. It just didn't work out. And some people gonna say I'm a hater because I'm a dude or whatever. It's just, no, I liked her character in Wakanda Forever. I don't like this. There's nothing about this that you cheer for. So that's just my point of view. We're gonna get into spoilers because I don't want to even talk about this for too long. Alright, so here it goes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, probably one of the best parts about the show is that we finally get Mephisto. Finally get him in the MCU. And I love Sacha Baron Cohen, who played Mephisto. I think he did a great job in representing him and doing him well. And it's funny, I want to see more about Mephisto and his dealings in the MCU more than I do Riri and the rest of the MCU moving forward. And it's just like, that's my point. You walk away caring and being more interested in the other characters, where Riri, by the end of the series, kind of gets on your nerves. It's like, dog, bro, you not again. Don't do that. Oh my gosh, you did that. Oh my gosh. And by doing that, The end scene shows her having a conversation with Mephisto. Now, seeing everything that happened with Parker, seeing everything that she was trying to help out Parker being the Hood and trying to get the Hood away from him and trying to get her family out of danger and everything, and seeing exactly what the Hood was doing to him and hearing about what it was tied to, how it was tied to dark magic, how it was bad for anybody who dealt with it, all these warnings and everything like that. He provided her exactly what she wanted, and she took it hook, line, and sinker. And the problem that I have with that type of ending is the problem that came with the show. She never learned any lesson throughout any of her actions. All her actions, negative or positive, literally continue to get wiped away. John got killed because of her, which was warranted because John was a little crazy. That never got settled. Hood just was like, alright, lost my hood, can't do nothing about that. My cousin dead, can't really do anything about that. Everybody just kind of like do their own thing after the whole breakup. Hood doesn't feel the need to take those people out who knows the secret and everything like that, but lets them go, but then kills Stewart. I guess because of ties, but doesn't kill anybody else. No repercussions for the actions that you take. Riri again, just, hey, let your mom in. Okay, I'm gonna go to my mom, but now I'm also gonna fight back from getting too close to her, and I'm not gonna pay attention to anything she gotta say. But then when she actually does, it actually benefits her. Did she learn from that? No, still, I got this, I can do this. It's just like, well, no, you don't. I've watched you for 8 episodes show that you don't have this. You need support. And the problem is that she has the support and still continues to go against it. And like I said, whether you find that grounded and more realistic, it's annoying. It's annoying when you have to see that, and it's just like, it's just watching a hard-headed person not get it. And then to make that decision to work with Mephisto to get Natalie back versus using her actual knowledge, her actual brains. One of the smartest characters she's supposed to be, using her brains. This is someone Shuri went after. And Shuri's one of the smartest people in the MCU. I'm talking about one of the smartest brains in the MCU. And she gave up because she said, I couldn't figure out how to do it again. That's smart to build a whole suit out of a car. That's smart to do all these wonderful things. Not only, even though Natalie was an accident, regardless, all of this stuff, and you could not find that out, so you took that deal. You took that deal. And the only difference between this deal and Natalie that she made is that it looks like this Natalie is for real, and that she's fully resurrected. But I'm like, at what cost? And to be honest with you, that's supposed to make us care about her and her situation with Mephisto. But honestly, it's just like, no. I kind of don't care. Whatever happens to you, happens to you. Has no effect on the MCU, has no effect on me watching you as a character. I don't care what happens with you and your deal with Mephisto. And before people go in the comments talking about that's really dumb for her to, like, she's stupid. I'm not calling her stupid. I'm just saying the decision was just dumb. And she's very intelligent, and she showed it, but it's just like when you're that smart, you become too arrogant to listen to reason. And she just made a decision that she didn't need to do. If she just willingly put in the hard work, I'm pretty sure she would have found out the way to bring that artificial Natalie back. But instead of doing that, she went the magic route because it was convenient only for the magic to not even benefit her. Other than powering up the suit, all that stuff towards getting magic in the suit really didn't do anything. It helped her to want to A, see the Hood when he went invisible, and B, just powered up her suit. After that, everything else was her. So what you need the magic for? It's like with an adequate power suit, or at least your own electrical element, like Tony had the element that continued to power his suit. If you could have made something similar to that, with all your science and expertise and your brains and something like that, you could have still won that same fight with the Hood even without the magic. And that's the thing that bothers me. It just felt like there was a lot of things that she could have did without even adding the magic element, but I felt like they added that magic element because the hood was in it and they wanted to introduce Mephisto for whatever they plan to do in the future. But it kind of doesn't make sense to even bring Mephisto this late in the game. This is the end of phase 5 and phase 6 is the ending. What are we going to do with these characters? We're never going to see them again. And then as for Riri, this whole backstory of her having to deal with Mephisto, what do we care after all this? After Secret Wars, what is this going to benefit us? Why are we going to care? And what makes it so bad is that the most earliest iteration of her after Wakanda Forever was in the What If series, and I like that Riri more than this one. So it just didn't make sense. And then I understand people's feelings about how she talks, how the show represents Tony Stark and her connection with her. Look, that's the way they wanted to write it. That's the way they wanted to go. It is whatever. I just don't like her reason. Like, yes, okay, I want this suit to protect you and the people I love so that, I don't end up just being helpless anymore. Cool. All right, dope. But then you don't even hang out with them. You don't even connect with them, really. And then when stuff goes down, you're not using your suit to protect them. You're using your suit to protect you. So I'm just like, you're not even really doing it for them. And then every time else, you're really saying the truth. I just want to make the suit because I can. It's not like she was like infatuated with Tony Stark or even Iron Man. It's not even like she felt connected to it. Like, a better storyline would have been like, instead of her dad being the person who's like super into Tony Stark, you can just let her just be super into the Marvel heroes and everything that was going on, and just feeling that sense of powerlessness when her stepdad and her friend was dead, that she feels like, not like, oh, if I have this suit I can protect everybody else, and then never protect anybody else with the suit, just literally just keep trying to make this suit better, but can't. You get what I'm saying? Going the route of like having her, instead of like helping other MIT students cheat to get through school so she can get some money to continue to pay her suit, why don't she use that brain and then show her actually trying to be like a good citizen, like going out of her way to do stuff for the community or something for the college, like make money that way, like she can make products that's actually benefiting stuff like she said she wanted to do. And then it's just like, you can use your brains to benefit so much stuff, but you keep putting it in this, like the show keeps telling you her issue. Her issue is that everything she could be doing, she chooses not to do for a reason that makes no sense. And the show continues to tell you that. That's the problem. So it's supposed to make us relate to her, but it's like, no, you guys see the problem, and you guys haven't wrote a solution in as if they're banking on a second season or a movie to resolve the issue, but it doesn't. It doesn't. And then what makes it worse is like, you can just literally have her do all these good things. She make money on the side, like helping people, like doing all this stuff. Like, you have a suit. Why weren't you doing anything with the suit to help people out? But you're making all these other gadgets to help people cheat. So when people keep calling her a criminal, a cheater, and a liar, all this type of stuff, it's like, there's nothing in the show that shows me otherwise that she's not. Their thoughts of her and interpretation of her feels very warranted. And that's a problem. Because if the people in the show are saying it and they are valid in that thinking, then the people outside who have bad intentions and look at this project and the people in it with such a negative mindset, they're going to feel justified and reason, see, I told you guys, that's why it sucked. That's why the people, and I can't argue with them on this. You could have had her in the beginning doing good things with the suit, doing something, and let her have the infatuation. It don't even have to be with Tony Stark. It could just be with the fact that, like, this was a smart, intelligent person just like myself, and they made something to help change the world. I want to do something like that, but I want mine to be more iconic. I want it to be more reflective of who I am and where I come from. You get what I'm saying? You could have went that route, but you didn't go that route. And then half the time she's in the suit, she's out there doing thief stuff. Smart as she is, she could have used her mind to go do other things, but never in her mind did she cross that. And then there's gonna be some people gonna be like, well, it's the same thing in reality, you know, when you ain't got nothing to do, people go to selling drugs and doing all this stuff. Alright, cool, yeah. And they and those we don't cheer for. Those are mistakes. You don't do that. Some of them people don't have a way out. Some of them people don't see another opportunity out there like that. She had every opportunity in front of her, and she was smart enough to figure stuff out, to build an Iron Man suit. All them brains, but no common sense. This doesn't add up, bro. So nah, man. Her making that deal at the end just was the icing on the cake. I was gonna give it a C, but seeing her make that deal just made it a D. I was not fans of that. I did not like that at all. And I understand people in the comics take deals with Mephisto all the time from Spider-Man and everybody else, but at the same time, it's just like, you just recently saw what just happened to this man who recently made this deal with the very guy. And then you just literally went along with that. For once again, a selfish reason. You wanted your friend back. And now you got her at the cost of what? Yourself? So you brought her back only for you to get taken away from her. All the brains in the world, but no common sense. So that's just my review of the Ironheart series. That's all I want to talk about. I hope this comes out right. If you like this, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. You think D was too low? Think that D was too high? Think D was just right? These nuts, whatever. Thank you for listening. Talk to you guys later.